ladies, all the above, best believe we do it better. I want the fame, the fortune, all the above. I want the checks, the moolah, all the above. From Philadelphia to New York, all the above. Man, tell them other stations they don't do it like us. I want the fame, the fortune, all the above. I want the checks, the moolah, all the above. From Philadelphia to New York, all the above. Man, tell them other stations they don't do it like us. What up?
What's up, guys? It's your girl Angel Marie, and I'm sitting here with my co-host Kevin. And this week we have another special segment for you guys where we are bringing back our weekly rundown. But this week we are going to call it The Buzz, because we're going to give you guys the entire buzz of what is going on in the world. So get ready.
So, a lot has happened since the last rundown, but we're going to focus, at least for the first part of the rundown, on the ladies. There's been a lot of significant moment for women, a lot of discussion about women's issues lately, so we're going to go there. So, topic number one on the rundown is August 18th it marked the 100th anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment, which for people who don't know is the amendment that gave women the right to vote. So, as a woman and a black woman, your thoughts on this, because that's obviously a very significant point in the history of this country on the path to equality and justice that we're still on. But as a woman, in particular a black woman, your thoughts on just a short time ago, 100 years is not a long time when you think about it. Women couldn't vote simply because you were women.
It's sad too, because it's the equivalent of black people in slavery and segregation, where you couldn't vote because of the color of your skin. It's like, as a black woman, we had two things against us, being black and a woman. So being able to vote, I feel like, is a good thing because we make a difference in this world. I am a registered voter. I vote every single time because I feel like there was people who fought for this who couldn't vote. So it's like, why wouldn't you exercise your right to vote and use the privilege that you now have to make a difference? You can put someone in office, you cannot put someone in office, blase. And I feel like a lot of times I hate when people say, oh, if I don't vote, it's not gonna matter, one vote not gonna count. But imagine if every black person or every black woman said that, it would make a difference. Hence why we have Trump in office. That's why I'm like, we need to make a difference, especially right now. It's very important to vote. Whether you don't like either candidate, because I mean, it's like, you just gotta pick the best of two evils at this point, because they both got issues. But you gotta vote. Exercise your right. That's how I feel about it.
And I'm not even going to add to that because, again, this is about the ladies. So my perspective shouldn't even come into play. I wanted to hear what you had to say as a woman, and particularly a black woman in America. So very well said.
Thank you.
Kudos
I feel like every man needs to take that into account, right? Take some notes, write that down, because there are plenty of times where men try to insert their opinion and their thoughts on women's issues, women's bodies, women's rights. That does not concern you at all. How can you talk about birth control? You've never been pregnant. How can you talk about pads and tampons and all that when you never had a period? How abortions? How can you talk? If you done got me started, but
no, please keep going. This is what I want.
Keep going. To think that type of level. If it does not concern your body, your mind, your mental, your ability, you shouldn't be able to have a right to vote against something or to change a rule or I don't know, just anything. Men shouldn't be able to make any type of decisions or have an opinion on that. Your opinion doesn't matter. I don't care.
Hold that thought, because we're gonna that's gonna lead us down to a discussion a little later in the rundown, or a part of that is gonna come up again, that theme. So save some of that indignation and rage for a later item on the rundown.
Okay.
But that was a good start.
To be continued.
So number two, and again, keeping in the theme of women empowerment, regardless of how you feel about her politics and her record, we do have a very significant historical moment with Senator Kamala Harris being nominated or accepting the Democratic nomination for Vice President to be on the ticket with Joe Biden. And she is the first black woman and the first woman of Asian descent. Her mom's Indian, or was from India, to be nominated for the second highest office in the country. So she is a HBCU grad. And again, her father was a Jamaican immigrant. So regardless of how you feel about the politics and her stances, it is a significant moment. So, as a black woman, because I know how I felt when Barack Obama received the nomination and then won. I don't agree with everything he did, but I realize the historical significance. As a black woman, your thoughts on the historical significance of a black woman receiving that nomination?
It's huge. Granted, I wish it was Michelle Obama, so I'm a little bummed out and sad. We all knew Michelle wasn't going to do it anyway because she's sick of the White House and she's sick of America. Wish it was someone else other than Kamala Harris, though. I would say that as well. But to have a black woman represent in America, to be of such a high stature and a high position, that is a huge win, and I feel like it's a huge step forward for something. Because even if Hillary Clinton had won, that's a woman, period. So I feel like that would have been monumental. But to have Kamala Harris represent for black women, where we're actually at the bottom of the totem pole. People always say the most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. And I feel like it still goes to show that right now, because as soon as everyone found out that she was going to be Biden's running mate, everyone started bashing her simply because she's a black woman. And I get a lot of people are saying that we still, even if you don't agree with everything that she has been doing lately in politics and the judicial system and all that, prison reform, all that, you don't have to disrespect her in regards to being a black woman to get your point across. We still should support her, I feel like.
Yeah, and my only thoughts on it, and I know you just said how you respect the fact that I shut up, but I just want to make the point that you can disagree with her politics, but I still think you can recognize the historical significance of her nomination. Exactly. So whether you support her or not, it is a landmark, a monumental moment in American history. A black woman, and people have argued about her blackness, and or some people even said, well, her father's half white and from Jamaica, so he's not African American. She is of African descent. She has African heritage, among Indian heritage, but she still has African heritage in her blood. So she is and identifies as a black woman as well as an Indian American. Both things can be true, and that's the thing that throws me off. People say she's not black. She can be black and be American, or be Indian, East Indian from India. Both of those things can be true at the same time. So she is a black woman who has been nominated, and I think people should at least recognize the historical significance for a moment, and then get back to the policy aspect of it.
It is sad when people are biracial and America forces them to choose a side. It's like you can represent both proudly and still understand your roots and represent both sides.
Yeah, it's not either or. Like, again, people are like, oh, her mom's from India. Okay, she can be both. Yeah. You are black and you are a woman. Both of those things are true. You can be black and be East Indian from India. I guess that would be, I saw it qualify as being Asian. So she can be Asian American and from Jamaica, or her father's from Jamaica, and identify as both of those, and neither of those are wrong.
Exactly.
So, number 3. Whew, here's where it's gonna get a little dicey.
Roller coaster?
Anyway, so I'm going to talk about Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion.
This is about women.
Yeah, so Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B have actually announced that they're celebrating women empowerment and also promoting their new single WAP by giving away $1 million via Twitter and Cash App. I guess they released a statement saying today through August 20th, women who tweet with WAP Party in their Cash App, I guess their Cash App, I don't have Cash Tag? I guess whatever I guess whatever that
I just
is.
say Cash App, man.
There you go. They'll have a chance of receiving a portion of the $1 million through Cash App. To celebrate and honor the inspirational conversation that's been happening in response to the song, Meg and Cardi B will be giving back to the women in a big way starting today. So, that's a positive thing, especially with coronavirus going on, people losing jobs, giving back to the fans. But there's been so much talk about the song that's come out and, the explicit content. The one thing I absolutely have to agree with is, again, regardless of how you feel about the content, I have to agree, men have been making vulgar music for a long time without this level of backlash. So it's just interesting that when women are making that same music or that same kind of content, they get so much more backlash. So I agree there's an absolute double standard. Your thoughts on it? First of all, your thoughts on the song itself. then the content. Your thoughts on the song, whether it was good, you enjoyed it, how you feel about the content, and then do you feel that it's a positive overall or a negative in terms of the perception of women, in particular black women, women of color?
Okay, you threw a lot at me, so I'm going to try to unpack this one by one. So,
and I'm going to just sit over here. I'm going to enjoy this one.
Alright, so with WAP, I feel like, first of all, it's Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion who are on the song. So it's like, what else would you expect from them if they're joined together doing a collaboration? That's one. Two, they didn't sign up to be anyone's role models. They are who they are unapologetically, especially Cardi B. She's known as being the ratchet queen, the ghetto queen, the provocative, lusty kind of female rapper. I feel like they didn't put themselves into a box to be clean and cookie cutter. So for them to put out the song, I in no way, shape, or form was shocked or anything. I actually like the song. I feel like the song could have had a different beat though, because I don't gravitate to it. It wouldn't be the first song I play on my playlist or anything like that. But I don't see anything wrong with it. I feel like women should be empowered to say whatever they feel like, just the same way that men do that on their songs. Nobody ever questioned it when men put vulgar lyrics about women on their songs. Plus, I will also say that I feel like it's a double standard, because whenever a woman does a provocative song with a male lead involved, it doesn't get questioned. So it's like Lil' Kim when she's with Biggie, or Nicki Minaj when she was with Lil Wayne and Drake. When they do a song with a male lead, no one looks at it. But the fact that there's only 2 women who has a song solely about sex and controversial topics, everyone is all bent out of shape. So that is another thing I want to point out.
That is a very good point, because it's not men get a pass, and the only way a woman gets a pass is if a man's on the song with her. But when it's 2 women, that's a very good point, and that's why I really, when I ask for your perspective as a woman, we all have blind spots. The same way I think African Americans try to tell, non-black folks, white Americans, that there's certain blind spots. Doesn't make you a bad person, but there's blind spots you have because your experience doesn't lend itself for you to see things through that lens. Exactly. So I understand the same way as a man that I've got blind spots, and some things are obvious and blatant that I can see, but that's something I hadn't even considered, where for you as a woman, it just, boom, you jump right out. It's obvious to you. So that's why I think it's important to listen. Again, however anyone feels about the content, you have the right to feel the way you feel about the content, but I just think people need to be consistent.
Yeah.
If you are going to bash Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion, you gotta bash every single one of the male artists who come out with this stuff. If you're not gonna do that, then shut up.
Yeah, and they put provocative lyrics in their songs all the time. It's just the fact that this song is very evident based off the title, what it's about. I think that's why everybody is like throwing a hissy fit.
One more question. Do you think the reason why men in particular speak out so much against this is because it's different when women are taking control of their bodies and how they, use them themselves? It's because the men don't have control and ownership over it?
Yeah, because in the song, obviously, they're making it seem as if the poom poom is giving them power, so that makes the man submissive and weaker. Because it's like, oh, I'm making you do all this with my little cooter, so boom, the man is inferior at that point. So that's why they're feeling some kind of way.
Got you.
Get your penis out of a bunch, man.
Appreciate your perspective on that.
You're welcome.
So, number 4, this has been in the news cycle for a while, but we haven't had a chance to talk about it. But Ellen DeGeneres has apologized again, apparently, to her talk show staffers for the toxic work environment. This past Monday was a busy day behind the scenes at her show. 3 top producers were let go amid the investigation into toxic workplace claims. I think sexual harassment was involved in those firings, or alleged. I guess she spoke with the staff on a video conference, and somebody who was on the call or had knowledge of what was said on the call, there was 220 show staffers. They told People magazine that Ellen said she wasn't perfect. She said, quote, "I'm a multi-layered person and I try to be the best person I can, and I try to learn from my mistakes." She went on to say, "I'm hearing that some people felt that I wasn't kind or too short with them or too impatient. I apologize to anybody to anybody if I've hurt your feelings in any way. She also said that she's putting in real structures and resources for people so this never happens again, and that it is extremely important to her. And apparently she was very emotional about the words she said, and she's emphatic about making the environment better. I think it's a load of garbage.
I do too.
Like, you go first.
I feel like what bothers me the most is once something comes to light, that's when people try to backtrack and provide resources so it never happens again. That should have been put in place immediately. There should be no room for harassment, no room for discrimination, especially sexual harassment, violence, verbal assault, anything of that nature. That should already have been set in stone with any company. So for you to feel like you have to train people or make that a standard now already shows that it was an issue. Plus, I've heard plenty of times that Ellen is rude on set. Plus, you can see it when you watch her show and she has her celebrity guests. She's short with them sometimes too, and she's very dry with them. And I'm like, oh, she kind of rude to them. Even when it's not a celebrity guest, with the regular guests that she has when she's giving them a free prize, you can tell that she's a little bit off with them, where it's like, oh, I'm a little better than you.
Yeah, I'm not going to blame her for, obviously she's over the show, but I'm not going to blame her for the producers who were, allegedly sexually harassing co-workers there. If she knew about it and did nothing, then of course. But I'm just going to speak to Ellen's, claims against Ellen and how she treated people. There were very specific stories and instances from people who worked there and were around where she was nasty. And for her to act as if, if you felt I was short or rude, if you're being a mean, nasty person, and if you're not, you can't be that out of touch. I think she was just being a fraud. Her whole be kind to one another. But in real life, you're rude and nasty to people who you feel are beneath you, and you are caught now. And the jig is up, so everybody sees you for who you are, and you're trying to backpedal and I'm sorry. Come on.
And speaking of that, when you say like how she's getting caught from being too uppity with people that she feels is beneath her, like Kevin Hart and some other black celebrity has spoke, I forgot who the other person was, where he was like, oh, Ellen never treated me this kind of way. She's always been of love and welcoming and generosity. Obviously, she's going to do that with her peer and with someone who's on the same stature and level as her. We're talking about her staff, the people who make minimum wage or whatever it is that Ellen offers at her show, where they're not making thousands of dollars based off of this show. So that's why it bothers me that Kevin Hart spoke out, because I feel like it invalidates everything that everyone else was talking about, because it's like, oh, here I am, a black person who's saying that Ellen didn't treat me any kind of way.
Yeah, you come out, either you're nice or you're not.
Yeah.
So if you're nice to some people and not nice to other people, you're not nice. You're either nice, or if there's certain people that you're not nice to or you don't treat with respect because they're not on your level or however you feel, you're not a nice person. So it doesn't matter how she treats Kevin Hart, it doesn't matter how she treats any other celebrity. If she's treating the people that are there to work on her show and to make it what it is, I think it's the most popular daytime show since Oprah left, then that's who you are. I just love when people get exposed and then they try to act as if that's not who they are. No.
Right?
It's a pattern. It's clear. That's exactly who you are. Maybe you can change, and this can be the catalyst for it, but can somebody please just admit and say, you know what? That's me.
Yes.
I got work to do.
Nobody never wants to admit, it's like, okay, I was wrong. I'm sorry. I'm going to make this better.
That's not my heart. That's not what's in my heart. That's exactly what's in your heart. That's what came out. Anyway, so, yeah. And number 5, and then on a more positive note, but Jay-Z and PHARELL are actually teaming up for a new song called Entrepreneur. And that jumped out at me because this is one of the things that we do is highlight and support entrepreneurs. Pharrell Williams and Jay-Z are shining light on the plight black men and women have faced in the United States. Their new song Entrepreneur drops on Friday in conjunction with Williams' new Time cover. The New American Revolution, described as a special project that examines America's oppressive past and the potential for an equitable future. Some of the lyrics rapped by Jay-Z reportedly are Black Twitter, what's that? When Jack gets paid to you, in reference to Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey. The intention for the song was all about how tough it is to be an entrepreneur in our country to begin with, Williams told Time, especially as someone of color. There's a lot of systemic disadvantages and purposeful blockages. How can you get a fire started, or even the hope of an ember to start a fire, when you're starting at disadvantages regard to healthcare, education, representation? So, I don't know, I like the concept of that song, talking about entrepreneurship and those kind of things, because that's big for us, and I think that's huge. And black women, and I don't know if you know this, but black women, they are the fastest growing segment of business owners in the United States over the last several years. I don't know how many years, but that's the fastest growing demographic of entrepreneurs and business owners. So,
I did not know that.
Yeah. So, your thoughts on the content of the song and ultimately what they're aiming to encourage?
I love it, honestly, because especially within the black community, you don't often hear about black entrepreneurs. You always hear people trying to be a basketball player, football player, anything with a quick come up, or people just working at McDonald's, Burger King, fast food joints. It's either a pick or choose. Black people are either working the minimum wage jobs that no one wants, or they're striving to be the biggest athlete celebrity. So I feel like to encourage entrepreneurship where you're your own boss, you're doing your passion, having people under you where you're leading the pack and showing leadership skills, I think it's a good look for the black community, especially the new generation that are coming up, to see, oh, okay, I can use the skills that I know to create my own empire, basically. I don't have to work for someone else. I can use the skills and assets that I've learned to put myself on.
No, I agree. So I'm looking forward to hearing that song. Obviously, Jay-Z and Pharrell, so I can't imagine the song's not going to be, incredible. So we'll see how it goes, but I hope it does encourage that. And the thing I like about hip hop is it's got such a wide variety of content. People always talk about, oh, where's the positive? Well, you're getting that right here. So if you're going to talk about the negative and bash that, you also got to respect and emphasize the positive content that's coming out. Another real good point, I will say Cardi B said something that I have to agree with too. Just jumping back to point 3, how she said people say they want a certain type of content of music from women, but like somebody like Rhapsody, why isn't her album, why doesn't she get the downloads or the streams that the ratchet music gets? And it's like, she's got a point. People are saying, no, this is how you should sound, this is what you should be talking about. But we don't at large consume that content nearly, so it's not rewarded. So
like, even if you think about it, like Erykah Badu, India.Arie, Jill Scott, they're all amazing and great, but it's like, if you I feel like people pick and choose. If you're cleaning the house, that's when you want to pop them on. But it's like, if you just regular schmegular chilling, everyone's gonna pop on a Cardi B.
So to recap, the rundown, number 1 was August 18th marked the 100-year anniversary of women getting the right to vote in the United States. Number 2, Kamala Harris, the senator from California, officially became the Democratic nominee for vice president. Number 3, Cardi B and Meg continue to promote their song. I've heard it pronounced WAP and WAP.
I say WAP.
I keep switching, so I'll say WAP this time. And also, we're giving away $1 million, and we obviously covered a lot of the controversy surrounding the song. Number 4, Ellen DeGeneres has apologized to her staff again and says she's committed to, making the work environment better and respecting everyone and so on. And number 5, Jay-Z and Pharrell are teaming up for a new song that's going to be released Friday, August
21st.
Thank you. Friday, August 21st, called Entrepreneur, which talks about black people struggling in the United States and also encouraging entrepreneurships and so on. So, that is the rundown. You got fired up today.
Yes, that was a good one. We haven't had a rundown in a while. So, I'm used to having this every week, so I had to let out some pent-up anger.
No, I know when I get you going and the hands start going, that's when I'm like, okay, let me just... Yes. That's what I want.
This was a good one.
So,
kudos. Well, there you have it, guys. That is the end of our weekly rundown, which we have called The Buzz. So, as usual, if you guys liked what you saw and you would like to see more, definitely let us know by giving us a thumbs up on the video below. And obviously, if there's anything that we talked about in this segment that you guys would like to address, you want to continue the conversation, or just something that shocked you, let us know by popping into our comment section below. Let us know your thoughts. We always love to hear what you have to say. We always respond back as well. And as usual, and finally, if you guys like what you saw and you want to see more, definitely push that subscribe button. That is how you stay up to date with everything that is going on with all the above. You get new video alerts, all that good stuff. You will never miss a beat. But as usual, it is time to go. We will see you guys next week. I'm your girl, Angel Marie. This is my co-host, Kevin.
See you guys next time.
See you guys next time.
Wednesdays at 7, Angel Marie and Kevin playing the illest records, bringing us back together. Philly is all season, storming through any weather, leaving the track bleeding, way we pull it together.